Okay, good evening, everyone. Hear ye, hear ye. It's Wednesday, January 27th. It is 6:37 p.m. Joan Savoy here, calling to order an urgent meeting of the Townsend Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Please let's have a roll call. Identify yourselves, please, board members.
Gary Shepherd.
Mike Verosco.
And Joan Savoy here. Thank you, gentlemen. The meeting is being recorded. Additions and deletions oh, no, this is not unforeseen. We can go, there's nothing unforeseen. I do want to say, though, that tomorrow night's Board of Selectmen meeting, we will be on with them. If you would like to join us, we're going to be discussing the grant opportunities, including the CDBG grant that we've discussed of late. Item 2, appointments. 2.1, discussion. We've lost our trustee Joe Shank. That's the bad news. The good news is he is now on the Board of Selectmen, and we wish him well and thank him for his service. Any comments? We're good?
Nope.
Thank you. We have 13 minutes to go. This is great. Meeting business, item 3. Item 3.1, which is why we're here. The COVID CARES $100,000 that the town received from the state and the feds to help our income eligible town residents. As you know, it was increased to $100,000. We now have many applications in at CMHA, and we are exploring our ability to give families more than $4,000 per family in relief, which we can do when and if we get more money. So now we definitely have $100,000. But I would like someone to make a motion, please, and I could not get a number yet from the town administrator as to how much more money we could get and how quickly we could get it. But we're hoping we can get more money and we can get it quickly. And therefore, we could give people more than $4,000 per family, for application for rental and mortgage assistance.
Do we have any basis? Do we have any understanding how many applicants we have, or?
Well, 3 or 4 weeks ago, Gary, it was 9, but that was before the crunch at the end of, you remember when the deadline was December 31st of 2020? Well, then everyone applied. So there's a huge bottleneck now, but then the extension came. So we have a whole nother year until December 31st of 2021. So they're in a bottleneck right now. 3 weeks ago, they were only looking at applications from the first week in November. So they got slammed, and they got really slammed the end of December. But I'm assuming there's at least 15, possibly more. So if we do the math, you can't go 10,000. If we gave 10 people 10,000, there all the money would go. But again, we're trying to get the most money to the people that we can. So when we have a better idea of how much, we can go as high as 10, but hopefully at least somewhere between 4 and 10.
I'd like to have a little bit more information. I understand that that's why we're here. So without knowing how many applicants we have or what the need is, to just randomly say not to exceed 10, I'm not sure is that fiscally responsible. You're
not allowed to exceed $10,000 per family. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to back into it, Gary, by finding out the most money we could have for the rental and mortgage assistance program. Right now, we know we have $100,000. We'll assume we have 15 applicants, or probably more at this point. So, you do the math, and there goes your money pretty quickly. But if I find out we could get another, I don't know, I have no idea how much more we can get. But when I find out ultimately, and how much more money we can get, we can say, all right, now the pot is, and this is hypothetically, now the pot is $200,000. We have X applicants in. Let's do some math, assuming we want to keep a little aside for anyone that applies during 2021, which I'm sure they will.
But don't you think it's appropriate? Don't you think it's appropriate to understand how many applicants and what the need is before we unilaterally, arbitrarily say, let's increase the amount to X?
I hear you, but I want to, if we vote tonight to agree to ask for the most money we can get, I don't see the harm in it, because any money that we don't hand out or that people do not apply for and is not given goes back to the government. So it's really no sweat on our end in that regard. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's going to be wasted in any way. And if I have the approval from you all to request those monies, once I was hoping to have a number today from the town, but I don't. I'm sorry. And it's very difficult to get through to CMHA. But again, if we have at least 15 applications in and only $100,000, and there are actually more applications in and more coming because COVID's got another few months ahead of it, unfortunately. The plan is just get as much money as we can. And then right now we're at $4,000 per family, which anyone that has a mortgage or pays rent, that's nothing.
I guess, Joan, with all due respect to everybody involved, without knowing and only understanding and having some perspective from some of the other organizations that I sit and listen on, that my suggestion would be a not to exceed $6,000 per family, which is a pretty generous contribution right now. I'm not willing to go to 10 without knowing what the numbers are.
Joan, the other
Mike,
thing,
do you have any input?
yeah, the other thing I'm curious on is, yeah, we did have the deadline for applying for 2020 based off the original $100,000 that we had. Is that money going to be utilized for those people that applied by that, or is there that money roll over?
No, that deadline had nothing to do with the amount of money that we had being spent. It had to do with people, with CMHA being able to accept applications. So yeah, the money, as far as I know, none of the $100,000 has been given to people yet.
Okay, so basically the money that we had, the $100,000, we had, you said 9 applicants in the beginning of December, potentially, more, because as that deadline hit, there was a bottleneck. So those people are going to get processed towards that first 100, and then you're looking to see if we can get extra money allocated because there potentially could be more applicants out there, and we're not going to be able to max out.
Well, exactly, because look, if we have 15 applications in, which I'm assuming A, we have more than that, and B, we will be getting more, that's $6,666 per family, right, for mortgage and rental assistance. So that's just on the 100,000. So if Mr. Kryler comes back and says, hey, we can get another, I don't know, I have no idea how much more, then we can go, okay, so let's make some decisions. So, I mean, we have batted around, because I've talked to Chaz on the Housing Authority about it, and then Laurie on the Housing Authority, between 65 and 8 maybe per family. But again, we don't want to go that high if we only have $100,000, I don't think.
So we have to determine what the max is before we, so basically that's what you're saying, is we really need to figure out the max per family before we ask for more and figure out how many applicants there are.
Well, again, we're kind of going sideways into this thing. Right now, it's the minute is $4,000. And Gary, I'm with you. I think we should go to at least 6,500, assuming we can get more money. Again, I don't know how much more money we can get, but I do know we can get more money. But with 15 families, 6,500 bucks, that would be great to help 15 families. But if CMHA comes back to me this week and tells me there's 25 apps in, we know more apps will be coming in because of the COVID. And then Mr. Kryler tells me we can get another X. I mean, no matter how you slice it, I'm kind of guesstimating here anyway.
So with that guesstimation, I'm going with a 50% increase, and that's where I'm holding until I got real numbers to back it up. And I've sat on the critical needs at the local foundation since its inception, and the state continues to feed, but they also expect us to understand the numbers of what we're requesting, and we don't have that. So if there's 15 at 6,000, there's 90 grand. And if there's 24, then we'll do the math backwards in that. If the state says we'd like to bump it up, I think that's great. But to unilaterally, arbitrarily say, I want to go to 65, 75, 85, 95, or 10,000, I can't do it. I'm stuck at 6.
Yeah, but that's not what I want to vote on tonight. What I want to vote on tonight
you asked for a motion. My motion is to increase to $6,000.
Gary, if you don't mind, what I would like us to vote on is just to ask the town to get more money for the COVID rental and mortgage assistance. That's why I called the meeting. I need your permission to ask for that money.
We don't know what we're asking for?
The maximum amount. Once I know what that number is, then I can come back to you all and say, look, now I know how much money we have in toto, right, for the whole thing until it ends next December of 2021. Now, by then I'll know how many applications are in. So where do we want to set this level?
And if you ask for a maximum,
for a motion to give approval to the town to seek more money for the COVID.
additional funding.
Yes.
So my first motion is withdrawn. My second motion would be to authorize Joan Savoy to request from the selectmen to seek additional funds from the state and federal government for COVID relief and rental assistance in the town of Townsend.
I'll second that, Gary.
Thank you. And let's have a roll call vote, please.
Gary Shepherd, yes.
Mike Verosco, yes.
Joan Savoy, yes. Thanks, gentlemen. And so I think we have a few minutes left. You've got the 12:10 meeting minutes. We have 1 minute and 53 seconds. Harley, we're good. Just know that I asked Jody to make a couple of changes. One was she had written down that 10 houses had been completed thus far under the rehabilitation under the CDBG grant, and I had her change that to 1 because that's how many.
I am making a motion to approve the revised meeting minutes of Thursday, December the 10th, 2020 via Zoom at 7 p.m. without reading through. I'm proposing as amended, which I got a copy of today in the mail. Do I need to have that here or up?
Yeah, I second that. I got that by email and I read it as well too.
So we're good?
Yes.
That's Mike, did you second that?
Yes, I did second that, Gary.
And a vote, please. Roll call vote.
Yes, Gary Shepherd.
Mike Verosco, yes.
Joan Savoy, yes.
I
And
have one piece of news information I'd like to request from the chair.
yes.
Now that Mr. Shank is no longer on the committee, where do we go from here in adding the next voice?
We have to find some lovely townsperson that's willing to volunteer on our committee. And I'm always.
Is that our response? Sorry, Joan, we got 30 seconds. Is that our responsibility or the selectmen or the town administrator?
Anybody can volunteer. Anybody can find out about volunteering from anyone.
All right, thank you. I'm all set.
All right, thanks. Mike, thanks. We're going to adjourn 6:52 p.m. on Wednesday, January 27th. That's the buzzer. Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good one, guys.
You too. See you. Thanks, Hartley.